was a new career high for him. And despite all of that, the Chicago Bulls still lose big time to the Detroit Pistons. We're going to talk about it, break it all down, have some therapy right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
Leave it to the Chicago Bulls to have a player that scores 51 points. And DeMar DeRozan also chipping in another 20 points. Vooch with 12. And you still lose by 16 points. No points from Patrick Williams. No points from Kobe White in this game. Dalen Terry has scored more points in this game than the starting point guard, Kobe White. 4 points from Torrey Craig, 2 points from Andre Drummond, 3 from Javon Carter, 2 from Alex Caruso, 5 from Ayo Dosunmu. That's just scoring off the bench. This game was an absolute fucking piece of shit. Let's just be clear here. The Chicago Bulls are god-awful. And the Bulls' offense is so stagnant in part because they do not move without the goddamn basketball. This is a fireable offense. This is a fireable offense. This was god-awful. And this is why when people are asking, how much do you think the Bulls are going to win by? What do you think the Bulls are going to do? What did I say in the pregame show? The Bulls have shown me nothing to believe that regardless of the opponent in front of them, that they are going to be able to fucking win a basketball game consistently. This has been 3 of the worst games played by the Chicago Bulls that I've ever seen in a row in my life. And despite them winning one of those games, you still can't overlook it. This game is trash. This game is bullshit. That's what this is. So it's ridiculous. The Bulls being predicted to win 37 games. It looks like that may even be too many games to predict the Chicago Bulls to win by. The simple fact of the matter is this: the Chicago Bulls are playing like goddamn Dookie. Right? That's what they're playing like. Billy Donovan should be ashamed of himself as a head coach that he coaches a goddamn team that doesn't move without the ball. The players should be goddamn ashamed of themselves that this is how they start off. They look like a team that's played 60 games already, playing against a team that has played 2. This team sucks. And they have talent on this team. And so it's bad. It's bad. It's terrible. This team is fucking horrible, man. It really is mind-boggling that you can have a team of professionals, people who are getting paid millions of dollars, and they're getting paid millions of dollars, and they're just there to watch the best seat in the house. Because nobody has no pride in this one. This is not a game where anybody can try to make the excuse of, oh, they did play with heart. What are you talking about? They have heart. No, they don't. They're a bunch of bitches. They're a bunch of bitches. And that's the problem therein lies with this goddamn team. This team, it just doesn't have any type of style, substance, identity, none of it. And while it's not just on Billy Donovan, then that's the case. Billy Donovan got to go. If you can't get players to move without the ball, we can talk all that rah-rah bullshit about shooting more shots, moving the ball around. This team is fucking atrocious. It is. I'd rather watch the Special Olympics basketball league than watch this bullshit. It's better ran offense. At least they rolling around on the goddamn floor. The Bulls ain't doing shit. The Bulls ain't doing shit. And that defense, nah, man, you can't even talk about that. They wasted a 51-point performance by Zach LaVine, who's absolutely played like dog shit this whole season, and can nobody else make a goddamn shot. It was the Zach and DeMar show, and everybody else was just there to watch it. That is unacceptable. That is disgusting. That is not something that we deserve as a franchise or as a team. And then they had the nerve to play a goddamn Tyrus Thomas highlight during a fucking timeout. What the fuck is that? Like, it's just, listen, I try every time to come out here and give analysis and breakdown, and I'm just going to be 100% real with y'all. I ain't got none of that shit tonight because this was fucking disgusting is what it was. This performance is a performance where everybody got to look at themselves in the mirror and wonder, why the fuck are you doing this? Because I tell you what, ain't no pride in none of this. It's god awful basketball. It's god awful execution. It's god awful pride. It's god awful coaching. It's god awful everything. This team is terrible. And I know it's 3 games into the season, and that's all very valid, and they have more than enough time to turn it around. But the fact of the matter is, you still got to go out there and eat it. The fact that you have now played 3 of the worst basketball games, probably of almost everybody's career back-to-back. 3 terrible basketball games played by this team. And this team does not act like or operate as a team at all. There's no cohesion. There's no chemistry. There's no plan. There's no scheme. There's no execution. There's no nothing. This team is not doing anything well so far this season. Outside of a couple of spurts of solid defense, this team ain't doing nothing. It's not doing anything. And so the Bulls fans that say blow it all up, the Bulls fans that say all that, they ain't doing nothing but giving them more credit and credence to say that. This is not a coach team. This is not a team that is trying to do anything. This is terrible. Shout out to BKR Sports, says absolute disgrace. This was awful to watch in every capacity, every single capacity. Every single capacity. It's the funny thing is that, like I said, this team has talent. And I know people are going to try to listen. Cortez says this team is soft. It ain't even about being soft. Like, that's an oversimplification. It ain't about being soft. This team is fucking stupid. Let's be clear here. You can't even be tough if you're a goddamn idiot and don't know when to put your fist up. They ain't even in the fight talking about this team is soft. This team ain't soft. They're a bunch of dumbasses. This team is not a team. This team is a well-constructed conglomerate of dumbasses. Everybody, everyone, there's nobody that is abstained or absolved from the dumbassery that we're seeing on this team. Not Kobe, not Vooch, not DeMar, not P. Will, not Zach. I'm sorry, Zach put up 51 points today, and I shout out to him. I'm glad that somebody stood up, and he scored almost half of the Bulls' points alone. But listen, that don't fix the way he's been playing all season. I get it, the back. I'll give him credit for that. But yeah, with that, Zach, Torrey Craig, Javon Carter, Alex Caruso, they're the only ones that showed any little bit of heart and care throughout the season. Not even all in one game, but throughout the season. DeMar DeRozan, he's now played 12 quarters. Out of those 12 quarters, 10 of them have been terrible. Billy Donovan can't coach to save his goddamn life. And you know what? You can't even, I don't even want to hear the conversation about Chris Fleming anymore, because Chris Fleming's a damn coach. Everybody got to go. Everybody got to go. Like, this is sad, man. This is sad. It's goddamn garbage is what it is, bro. It's garbage, man. That's crazy, bro. Like, that's just wild, bro. This is goddamn disgusting, fam. And I know that I usually give you guys a lot better post-game show than this. I know I really try to be even like just level-headed and give great analysis even, but I'm a Bulls fan. And as a Bulls fan, this is the Bulls fan in me. This ain't the podcaster. This ain't the YouTuber. Right now I'm being a fan, and I'm tired of seeing my team look like a bunch of goddamn idiots out there. That's the thing that hurts the most, right? Because fuck the merge, fuck the money that I spend on the team. Forget all of that. I don't care about all of that. That's easy. I'll do that anyway. But outside of that, like, it just hurts to care so much for a team, to being so invested in a team that puts out a product like this and has players that clearly do not care, right? That's the part that sucks so much. You guys in the chat, the 400 of you guys right now in the chat watching this video, the fact that you guys spend your time to watch this team, and this is the performance that they gave you against the Detroit Pistons. Let's be clear here, right? That's what sucks about all of this. That's what stinks about all of this. Big Scott, no, I'm not tripping. It don't matter if it's the third game. They play like bitches. You tell me. So are you telling me that you're going to excuse your girl for sucking another dick because it was only 3 days into your relationship? Is that what you're going to do? Because it's only 3 days into the relationship, so she's fine to go out there and deep throat another dick because it's 3 days into the relationship. You tell me what the fuck that got to do with the performance that they've been given for 3 games. You tell me that, big skunk. Please inform me why it's because it's only 3 games that excuses them playing like a bunch of whores. Please explain that to me. I'll be looking for your comment in the chat. You please explain that to me. This team is the same team. No hustle, always no shooting. Make some moves now. Blame front office sucks for this team. No, you can't blame the front office for the execution. I'm sorry. Any simple-minded basketball player should be able to move without the ball. Period. Any simple basketball player should be able to move without the ball. Dan Miles says, make some phone calls tonight, Petty Rose. Well, no, it's not even worth it. It's honestly not even worth it to make any phone calls. SB in the chat says, salute Haize in the chat. Shout out to you, SB. Y'all make sure y'all go and support him over at C-Red Nation, by the way. It's Seaway's World says, it's sad. It's disgusting is what it is. Billy has the game plan philosophy of a sloth, bro. Like, I mean, that's definitely the way he makes adjustments. That's for sure. This is a good, I guess you mean good team, Jerome. We're just being poorly coached. Well, no, but again, yes, the game plan sucks, but that does not abstain the players from the way that they are executing. You should move without the ball. There's period. You should move without the ball. A coach shouldn't necessarily have to tell you to move without the ball when you've been playing basketball your whole goddamn life. Nobody should have to tell you that. Nobody should have to tell you to move without the ball. Vooch making Durant look like prime Dwight. P. Will and Kobe burning cardio. Truthfully, blow this team up because we have zero direction. No direction on this. Like right now, and I've said this before. I said this off season, right? Is that the thing that makes it so sucky is that, you know, if you were a team that was losing, but you had young players that were learning, that were grinding, that you can see, like, for example, the Pistons are going to lose a lot of games this season. But Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, like, they have a lot of players that if you're learning, going through it, you can be like, okay, listen, yeah, it's tough right now for us, but in 2 years, if we keep developing with this core, we're going to have a little something. We just got to flesh it out. The biggest thing that sucks about this team right now is every person who should be a part of the Bulls' future has a big ass question mark around it. I'm gonna leave Kobe off of that just because he's worked himself into being the starting point guard. Patrick Williams, huge question mark on what he's going to be going forward. Dalen Terry, we don't know what the hell Dalen Terry is going to be. I would assume while he's definitely improving in the role that he is now, still a question mark. Julian Phillips is a question mark, but it's his rookie season. I'm not holding that against him. None of the players, Marko Simonovic gone. He went back to Europe. No, any NBA team wanted him. We have no future right now that adds clarity to what this team is. And so that alone makes things so much more difficult to have a positive outlook on this team because there's no clarity right now. None. Zero. Zilch. None. None. And that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. Javon Carter, garbage too. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Listen, nobody gets abstained from it. Everybody has sucked so far. I want Billy gone. Also, as much as Kobe has improved, he needs to be moved to the bench, play a different role. He's being wasted as starting point guard. Shout out to JDH on that one. Very interesting take there. I'm not saying I disagree. Right now, I'm rageful. I don't know. P. Will got to lose the starting position. Torrey Craig has to take his spot. This team is terrible. Listen, at this point, and again, let me be clear. I'm not somebody who's completely down on P. Will as far as his career. I still think that there's time. I'm going to say that. But I will say this, is that at this point, I'd rather see Julian Phillips get a shot than Patrick Williams. That just is what it is. I would rather see Julian Phillips get a chance, period. Detroit absolutely, like, don't get me wrong. Detroit absolutely gets credit. You know why Detroit gets credit? They moved without the ball. That team played with heart. When they realized that they were getting the lead on the Chicago Bulls, they put their foot on the necks of the Chicago Bulls, right? That's the instinct that we don't have. Azur Thompson, however you say his name, I'm sure old boy is going to correct me, but that the defensive mindset that he had, where he refused to let Zach move, we need a dog like that on the team. We need a dog like that on the team. Like, come on, man. Like, we got so much to improve on, fam. Like, it's wild, man. It's wild right now. But shout out to the Detroit Pistons because they played and executed a hell of a game plan, especially defensively. Every time the Chicago Bulls started getting the lead down, how many times did the Chicago Bulls get the lead down to where it was 4, it was 2, it was 5, and it looked like the Bulls were going to get momentum? The Detroit Pistons came in there and absolutely snuffed out the Chicago Bulls and immediately got the lead back up to double digits. And shout out to them for being able to do that. Like, that's so, I definitely give the Detroit Pistons because they executed well and they fought back. You know how many times? I'll say this, right? The fact of the matter is this: the Detroit Pistons, every time the Chicago Bulls started getting the lead down, they fought back. You know what? I wish we had a team that said that, right? I wish we had a team that could get a lead, and every time the other team starts marching back, we go nuclear on them. We don't have that edge here in Chicago right now. We don't. So, and that's a problem. That's a problem. Filmed by Fresh says, I'm out on P. Will. Listen, a lot of people are right there with you, brother. A lot of people are right there with you on P. Will right now. And I can understand. It's hard to defend Patrick Williams right now. Is everything his fault on this team? No. But it's really hard to defend him. Zach LaVine's back. This has been like a year. Do you remember me? I came back after a long time. Absolutely. Absolutely. OTR says, brother, I'm up at 1 a.m. losing my mind over how effing horrendous this AIDS-infested dog shit softer than Charmin ass. Sorry excuse for a team is. So basically, like, listen, I can't even blame you, bro. Usually I would try to talk people off the ledge. But no, it's bad right now. The city of Chicago is struggling right now. That's crazy, bro. Crazy. Chicago Dog says, I'm mad, bro. Like a lot of people are. It's bad, man. Right now, that shit's bad, fam. It's bad. BKR Sport, my brother from across overseas, says Patrick Williams, complete fuck. Donovan, massive fuck. Defensive rebounding, fuck. Teams that care, clearly fucking not. That's crazy, bro. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's wild, bro. All that talk in the offseason, bro. This is like real talk. It's just disappointing, fam. It's just disappointing. This team is playing like a mix and match group at the Y. Listen, I'll tell you what. You know what? The mix and match group at the Y executes a little bit better because they go out there and do fundamentals. Let's Talk Bulls, and they not even doing that. Shout out to Let's Talk Bulls. I'm going to get them on the show sometime next week on the members only part of the channel. So if you want to hear that interaction and that collab, make sure you guys go and become a member as well. But yeah, man. Damn it, we got to go the Wizards direction. I mean, listen, I've been saying I still don't think it's likely that the Bulls blow it all up while they owe out a first-round pick. I don't think they blow it up all completely. Now, I do think that a massive retooling may happen, but a complete blow up, I don't necessarily see that. I don't necessarily see that. Let's see what we got here. We got Marcos Santiago says, when the players ask the coach to leave the meeting, he's lost control of the locker room. This doesn't happen in San Antonio, Miami, or New York. Here's what I'll say, though. I do think that players-only meetings are more common than what people think. I just think that they only get publicized when there's drama. Miami doesn't necessarily have a lot of drama because Spo runs that. New York, listen, it's Tom Thibodeau. Notoriously, a lot going to come out of there. In San Antonio, no. Greg Popovich probably encourages player-only meetings. So I'm not going to say that they don't have players-only meetings, those other teams. I'm pretty sure that they do. It's just it only gets talked about and publicized when it's negative, right? When the team's losing. You'll never hear about a team having a players-only meeting if they have one just because they want to work stuff out, but they're 11-4, right? So there's a little bit of that as well. But listen, at the end of the day, this team right now is in a bad place. It's in a bad place, bro. So listen, whatever you want to say, it's bad. Let's Talk Bulls says P. Will's always looking like a sad little brother because he is right now. Shout out to Steve on the building says, to be honest, I'm not even mad no more. It is what it is. I mean, and that's the point that we're going to get to, right? It's getting dangerously close to the point of when we had Denzel Valentine out and Tony Snell. Like, it's starting to get to that point because I wasn't as upset. I know I didn't have the show then. I wasn't as upset with the Bulls losing then because I didn't expect them to win because I didn't care, right? Not that I didn't care about the team. I've always cared about the team, but I was removed a little bit. I didn't have expectations, I guess is the way to say, because the team, it clearly wasn't trying to win. This is a team that's trying to make win now moves, though, and that's what sucks so much about this team. By the way, y'all, I know the Bulls are losing right now. We are literally 5 subscribers away from passing 15,100 subscribers. So if 5 of you guys go ahead and hit the subscribe button, you may think you're subscribed because I always pop up in your algorithm. Go and hit that subscribe button for me. Yeah, so we can get to that milestone. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of this season. That's the goal. Typically, we gain about 5,000 subscribers a season. So if we can get to that 20,000 by the end of the season, that'll be the goal. There you guys go on that. We're not going to plug it a lot. The Flamin' Turtle says the Bulls draft trade sign one-dimensional dudes. Well, no, here's the thing. They didn't sign one-dimensional players. Torrey Craig is a 3-and-D guy, right? Javon Carter is another point of attack and three-point shooter. Drafting, though, it's not even about them being one-dimensional. We just draft these players that are such projects that it's going to take something. We just are starting to invest in player development. So that's going to hold it back, especially when you draft high-level like it'd be different if Pop drafted P. Will, Dalen Terry, right? Ayo Dosunmu, we look at those players completely different because he has a development plan as a head coach, right? I'm not saying that they necessarily would be stars, but we'd at least know who and what they are. We don't even know that right now, right? That's one of the biggest problems. We just got to wait until February when Vooch is unstoppable. Shout out to Shea on that one. But let's see. Alex Larez in the building says, thank you for the super chat, brother. Thank you for supporting the channel. Zach had to beat his all-time scoring record for us just to lose in the sad way we did. That says more about the rest of the team than it does that. Oh, listen, for this performance tonight, Zach is beyond critique at this point because he showed up tonight, especially with the way that he's performed the first 2 games. It seemed like Zach wanted to come out and make a point, not only for himself, but for the fans and say, listen, I'm here. I'm still here. My back's just bothering me, but once I get back fully healthy, this is what you can expect. And I respect that from Zach. I really do. I respect that from Zach because, listen, I would have loved to see Zach sit down today because we got the Indiana Pacers on Monday. But I give tons of respect for Zach for coming out and being able to perform. Tons of credit to him for that. Blessed Up Shay says, bum-ass team, they average. This is below average, fam. This ain't even average. I wish I could say we had an average team right now. On the season, keep in mind, on the season, the Bulls are now shooting 39% as a team from the field. Not just a game, not practice. Shout out to Allen Iverson. But for the season, 3 games in, you're shooting 39% as a team. For I'm sorry, that is unacceptable for a team that is trying to win now. If you were rebuild, that's different. Have your 39% shooting 3 game stretches. As a team in the NBA that is coming to try to win basketball games, it is not excusable at all to shoot 39% as a team. That's unacceptable. Crazy, fam. Just crazy. Crazy. That's wild, man. That's crazy. I'm with you 110%, Haize. It's just frustrating. And like I said, this is probably the most fan Haize that you'll get for a while, right? But I had to come, like, I'm frustrated. And I would have loved to be able to come in here and just be like, hey, this is the stats, this is what the rundown is. I don't even think I read off a single stat yet. I would love to have been able to do that. But I'm frustrated and I'm pissed off. And it's sad that this is the performance that the team gives us. Yes, it's 3 games into the season. They have more than enough time to turn it around. But I got to ask yourself this. What have you seen so far from the Chicago Bulls team that says that we can have confidence that they're going to turn it around? Right? There's a possibility. I don't want to, like, the defense that we've seen in stretches from the team, seeing Zach LaVine have this type of game, we just need somebody else to step up. Like, there are signs, right? But it's not much. There's not much for hope. But to go over the stats in this game, 32 rebounds. We got out-rebounded 32-53 in this game. 32-53 in this game. I repeat, 32-53 in this game. That's crazy. Points off turnovers. The Bulls did win that. 17 points off turnovers. Points in the paint. The Detroit Pistons had 58 points in the paint, while the Chicago Bulls had 36. The Detroit Pistons also doubled us in second chance points. They had 20 second chance points. We had 10. They had 11 fast break points. We had 11. Not too much of a difference on that one. 3-point shooting percentage. The Detroit Pistons shot 42% from three, while the Chicago Bulls shot 39%. Overall field goal shooting percentage. The Chicago Bulls in this game, 41%. The Detroit Pistons, 52%. Just tough, man. It's tough to play. It's tough to win games when you lack an execution. And that's just what it is. Ryan Hill, shout out to Ryan Hill. Thank you for supporting the channel at any level, my brother. We appreciate the super chat. So Zach ain't perfect, but needs some help, my brother. Absolutely. Right? Zach is a flawed player, as everybody is on this team. And that is why roster construction is hugely important. But right now, it's bad, man. Great question from Alex Larez. How would you describe a retooling opposed to a rebuild? This is the way that I'll explain it. A rebuild means just that, tearing everything down, and basically starting fresh. That means you may keep some pieces around, but basically the makeup of the team is going to be completely different. Even the players that you keep may play completely different roles. A retooling is basically like a remodel in your home. The framework of your home doesn't necessarily change, right? But moving key pieces may bring out something different. For example, right? I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is just the first name that came to mind, right? A retool for the Chicago Bulls would say, let's say the Chicago Bulls move DeMar DeRozan and bring in Mikal Bridges, right? Let's say as well as part of that retooling, they also move Alex Caruso, for example, and bring in Trey Jones. This is just that's a retooling, because at that point you've moved two fairly big pieces of your roster, but Zach's still here, Vooch is still here, Kobe's still here, right? So you still have a lot of the same pillars. Their roles may change, but you're hoping at that point adding in Mikal Bridges, who is a more of a three-point threat, right? Somebody who doesn't operate strictly in the mid-range. You're also bringing in a more pass-first point guard who can shoot the ball, but isn't necessarily looking to get his shots. He's more looking to set up, do offense, right? That's a retooling, because bringing those two players into your starting lineup will completely fundamentally change the way that you get your offense, right? So that's the difference between a retool and a rebuild. Rebuild is basically like, hey, we tearing everything down. We're starting from the ground up. It all got to go. So that's kind of the difference there. Let's go ahead and I'm getting calmer now. I'm getting calmer. I had to work it off. Shout out to my brother L in the building. Says, man, we have problems with the Bulls. We have said what needs to happen, but we get so much pushback on how they have to keep trying. Something has to happen. Coach or players, one has to happen. Completely agree with you, bro. And that's a great, insightful post from you, right? To even say like one of them has to happen. Something has to change in this team fundamentally if you want to change what's happening. And you also need to send a message, right? You also need to send a message. So we'll see what happens with that, man. We'll see what happens. You guys are going off in there. Let's see. This was the number one attended team last year. Why did people think they were going to change anything? Well, we got to. I know that's your narrative right now. Listen, the Bulls have made changes with still being the number one attended team. So that right there, this whole narrative that we got to boycott, we got to stop going to games, we got to stop buying merch, that'll get them. No, I tell you what right now, because it'll take so long for that to start affecting their pocketbooks that at that point they may have already decided to rebuild on their own. That's not what's going to do that. That's not what's going to do that. Lil Famo in the building says, depending on Hurt, man, to be our savior and drop 51. My respect for Zach went up. That's what a max player does. Listen, Zach, and that's not to say that Zach is outside of the realm of critique for how the 3 games overall. But this game, Zach LaVine came out and made it happen, right? Yeah, he didn't score in the second quarter, right? That's the only quarter I think he didn't score in. So the first quarter, Zach LaVine scored 19, as we all know. The third quarter, he scored 20. The fourth quarter, he scored 12, right? The only quarter Zach LaVine didn't score in was the second quarter, and that was the quarter we got outscored by 10, right? So listen, it's crazy, man. Chicago ain't for everybody, says fire Billy. We should have did it last year. I mean, listen, his contract extension hasn't even kicked in yet. Hasn't even kicked in yet. That's crazy, man. You gave a contract extension to a guy who at that point hadn't had a winning season for you yet. Haize, I had to read off the stats on my stream. Don't bother. It's not worth it. You don't want to see the stats outside of LaVine. Oh, bro, all right, listen, I had already seen them before then, man. It's crazy, bro. Zach is going to be cussing out people tonight. He deserves to. Like, he deserves to. This was disgusting, man. D-Dub in the building says, hey, I'm a little worried about Kobe White. Kobe the starter looks very different than Kobe the solid bench player. As a starter, he has to defer to Zach, DeMar, Vooch, and focus on facilitating. I said that this offseason, right? When I was saying this offseason of, I didn't necessarily think that Kobe would be the starting point guard. It wasn't because I didn't think Kobe should play the most minutes. It wasn't because I didn't think Kobe was going to have a great season. It was because just the balance, right? Kobe White isn't a set up the half court offense point guard. He's a ball dominant scoring guard in this league. And so, he's able to do more of that coming off the bench. And it sucks. It's unfortunate, man, because I do think that Kobe is ready to make a step in the leap. I really think that Kobe's ready to do that. But when you have this type of offense, it's hard to do. Hey, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe this is a good thing that this is happening early in the season instead of the middle or towards the middle or towards the end. I mean, let's hope so, right? If this team is starting off right now and they're going through their struggles now, and we're talking about flip-flopping the way that the 2 seasons ago worked, where maybe the Bulls go on a great run in the middle and the end of the season, hey, I will be the first to say I was tripping 3 games in. I'll be the first to say that. But right now, we haven't seen any signs that that's going to happen. Let's hope that changes, though. How much is Bubblegum Billy making per year for these rotations, CEO? Well, we don't know what Billy Donovan extension is worth, right? But I believe Billy Donovan, if I'm not mistaken, let me get the deals. I just want to say, let's see, so Billy Donovan is making $6 million per year on the deal he's on right now. But keep in mind that deal expires at the end of the season. We don't know what the contract extension he signed for. But we signed him on a 4-year, $24 million deal. So that means he's making $6 million per. So there you go. $6 million for Billy Donovan. He's getting paid $6 million for these rotations. Can we buy a billboard to fire Billy Donovan? Well, keep in mind, even that billboard didn't change much for the Bulls. I tried to defend P. Will due to Laurie and Wendell, but then it's like we skipped so many players to trade him for Jeremy Grant due to the Jeremy Grant thing was never actually going to happen. That never was going to happen because you couldn't trade P. Will for Jeremy Grant straight up. We were never going to be able to match that salary. So those are rumors. And you guys know I always break down rumors here. So that the Jeremy Grant, the Rudy Gobert, all those trades, they were never going to happen. So let's not hold that against it because those were never going to happen. Big Kev in the building says, man, tough loss in a very winnable game. Let's go hard all season, Zach. Oh, man, that's crazy. That's tough, man. Rab says, Jalen Duren's a monster. Jalen Duren is a monster. Shout out to Jalen Duren because that dude is a monster, man. He has a lot of potential, man. And we gave a contract extension to a coach that didn't even need an extension. Seriously, have you ever heard of a losing coach getting extended over a year before necessary? Not to my I don't have it all in the back of my mind, but not to my recollection. I cannot think of a coach that has struggled the way Billy Donovan's teams have, that gotten a contract extension a full year before you needed to extend. Like, it'd be different had he got that contract extension this past offseason, considering he would have been going into 1 year left on his deal. But and that's the thing with this team. Like, it seems like they make it. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is, man. Let's see. What the hell is happening? I hate restream sometimes. Pat being in the starting lineup could hurt the other guys because his inconsistency could throw them off, thinking they could really rely on him. Listen, I'll tell you what right now. Ain't nobody relying. Ain't nobody mentally thinking, oh yeah, P. Will's the guy we need to rely on. If they are, they're idiots, which would not surprise me with the basketball IQ. Like, I'm not completely out on P. Will yet, but even the most optimistic P. Will fan has to realize you cannot rely on P. Will to be consistent. You just can't. He's not shown any propensity for that. You just can't. You can't. Poindexter Flex in the building says we need to sign an undrafted D2 player and give him a shot to get some positive vibes on the basketball side of Chicago. That is hilarious. Well, we got Ernalop Benham there that we could just bring in. Like, I'd rather see him taking a bunch of threes. So instead of a double-dipped Italian beef for Patrick Williams, because obviously he's not worth that anymore, I'm thinking I'll take an expired Walmart coupon. That is hilarious. Man, that's funny. We should have got Cole Anthony. Oh, listen, keep his hairline and big-ass gums off my team, too. I can't believe he got the money he got. Vern says, yo, what will it take to unlock P. Will? Because Stacey said on the call that Billy has tried to motivate him by giving him some extended time on the court, but that doesn't work. It's on him to want it. What will it take to unlock P. Will? At this point, it's going to take Miss Cleo, Dwight Howard, a witch doctor, Papa Shinago, bring in Paul Bear's Ghost, a Goosebumps book. Listen, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. I have no. Find whatever Patrick Williams loves and kill it. That's all I can say. Whatever he loves, find it and kill it. Maybe that'll motivate him. I have no fucking idea what it would take to unlock Patrick Williams at this point. I don't even know if you can unlock Patrick Williams anymore. I don't know, bro. Let's talk Bulls. Thank you for the super chat, brother. There's so many flags with the fans not being told what the extension is. Listen, we don't know, bro. It's crazy. We don't know the money. We just don't know, man. We don't know. Oh, man. This is so frustrating. Not Dwight bringing in the cleaner for people. Hey, listen. Shout out. Like, I tell you what, if Kitty and Dwight Howard waiting in Patrick Williams' hotel room when he gets there doesn't motivate him, I don't know what will, bro. I don't know what will, bro. I don't know. I have no idea, man. I have no idea, bro. None. I don't even know. I have no idea. Lil Fan says, Paul Bear, no, I'm crying. Motherfucker said find what he loves and kill it. I'm just taking shots in the dark at this point, bro. I have no idea, man. Bring in Bobby Portis to punch people in the face. Well, last person he punched in the face left the NBA, so I don't even know if that's the case, man. Haize, the problem is teams are sending weak side help. If any bull touches the paint, we can't hit threes consistently to make them stay home. Oh, my God, the rebound. And we're not moving without the ball. That's another problem. We're not moving without the ball. That's a big problem, right? That's a big problem. Other teams have a good young core or is a contender. It is what it is, man. This team's frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. I love you guys, though. I'm going to keep doing this. I love you guys, man. You guys know what it is. I love talking to you guys. This was just one of those days where I just realized I had to get some shit off my chest, fam. That is it. I had to get some shit off my chest, and I appreciate you guys for not all tuning out in mass droves once I started going off, but I just had to get some shit off my chest, man, because this team is beyond frustrating because of the lack of care, the lack of execution, the lack of heart, right? Those are things that as a Bulls fan, it just sucks to see and know that that's your team. Know that that's your team, right? And I'm not a fair weather fan. I will never leave the Chicago Bulls as a fan of this team. But it sucks, bro. Right now, this sucks. And it's trash. And it doesn't, like, it's not a clear path out of it, man. Um, would you be a good coach? Do you think? No, because I'd smack somebody. Like I told you guys on the other stream, I would be fired within 2 weeks of coaching this team because I would have open hand smacked Patrick Williams a couple of times already. And they'd be like, hey, the coach of the Chicago Bulls was recently just fired and banned from the NBA for choking out one of his own players. Listen, I'm all of 5'10" and a half, and I would beat Patrick Williams' ass. Dwight Howard will try to unlock something else in P. Will. Next thing you know, Pat is out with it. That's crazy, bro. But funny enough, y'all remember when Anthony Davis missed 46 games with a butt injury? I wonder if he was hanging out with Dwight Howard when that happened. I wonder if he was hanging out with Dwight Howard. Because, like, how do you miss 46 games with a butt injury? Dwight Howard had to be involved. Nobody can tell me different. Dwight Howard had to be involved. Anthony Davis looks like he spends his offseason in Atlanta, too. Like, you can't tell me Anthony Davis doesn't spend his offseason in Atlanta. Oh, man. That's crazy. That's wild, bro. Haize is comment to the media after being fired for smacking P. Will. Y'all see how he was playing? Hey, exactly. I feel like, hey, listen, it is what it is. The good thing, though, is that if they fire a head coach, they still got to pay you your whole salary for however long your contract is. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Let's just take a look at this, right? Because I remember it. I gotta because every time I read it off, I always laugh at it. What year was that? Hold on. What year was that? There it goes. So in 2000, this is Anthony Davis' injury report. Gluteus maximus, glute, gluteus maximus, shoulder, finger. Whoa, see, this paints the whole picture. Finger, calf, right calf, elbow, gluteus maximus, gluteus maximus, gluteus maximus, gluteus maximus. We're all the way from December to fucking October at this point. Like, this man missed 46 games with an injury to his gluteus maximus. All right, listen. Dwight Howard was involved. Can't nobody tell me any different, man. Can't nobody tell me any different, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's wild, man. That's crazy, bro. That's wild, bro. That's the fact that that's even on your injury report is wild. That's crazy, bro. That's wild, man. Let's see. Black Prophet in the building says it's only 3 games, people, and the Bulls have about 6 new players. I'll ride with my Bulls until the wheels fall off. Even after that, I will still stand with my Chicago. Yeah, listen, nobody I think is saying let's back out of being Bulls. At least not me. I can never be a fair weather fan. I'm gonna be a Bulls fan forever. But it just sucks, man. Dwight said, "Let me show you the map." That's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild, bro. That's crazy. That's deep. Oh, man. Yobo Vice says, just left the awful game. Bulls play with no heart. Oh, man, we all saw that. We talked about it. Oh, man. All right, y'all. I love you guys, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream. We've been going about 45 minutes. It's been 45 minutes mainly of me complaining about this goddamn team. I mean, I guess we'll see, man. It's 3 games in. They still got plenty of time to turn it around. I'm sure they'll probably have another players only mean when it's all said and done. But this team got some serious things that they need to fix. All jokes aside, they got some serious things that they need to work on with execution, defensive consistency, moving without the ball. A lot of those things they gotta get it together, man. They got to get it together. So let's hope that that's the case for the Chicago Bulls. Let's hope that they can find their rhythm. But yeah, I love you guys, man. Go Bulls, man. See Red, I'll be back tomorrow with the daily episode. I'm the only truly daily Chicago Bulls YouTube channel and podcast out there. 7 days a week, I'm dropping new content. Nobody else can say that. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button on your way out as well. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to have my therapy. Hopefully it was therapeutic for you guys as well. That's what we love to do. If the Bulls do lose a lot next week as well, we may even go back to doing what we used to do when we used to have the crisis hotlines, allow you guys to call in, kind of air your grievances out. It's basically a live mailbag episode. So maybe be on the lookout for that next weekend, depending on how this next week goes for the Chicago Bulls. We got 1 day off. We're right back on Monday with a game against the Indiana Pacers. I think we got 3 games in total next week as well. You guys stay tuned in for that. Thank you guys so much for being the best part of this channel and the best part of Chicago Bulls Central. I appreciate you guys so much. I can never stress that enough. I always say this. I may be the host of this channel, but this channel is not mine. It's ours, and I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See Red.